Hi everyone. We are going to be joined tonight by Lee, who I'm not going to say too much because I want them to introduce themselves, but Lee is just an incredible musician and fashion designer, and I can't wait for you to meet him. So, in a few minutes, Lee is going to join us. Wearing my Maisie print that I love so much. These are so, so soft. I've been just living in them. These crop tops from the Maisie collection. So good. Just waiting for Lee to join. In the meantime, look at my beautiful plants. They're doing so well right now. I went to a park today. I hope all of you are getting some nature because nature is lovely. Sorry about that brief pause. I was just communicating with Lee, but they'll be on in a moment. Hi, Lee.
Hello.
Hey,
Hi.
it's so good to see you.
Nice to see you too. How are you?
I am doing well. I spent some nice time in Prospect Park today, so
Oh, that's awesome.
that was really good.
I'm like adding filters for the call.
Oh, fun. um, Now that we're both on, why don't we both introduce ourselves? Just for folks who don't know us. I'm Edmund, and I go by he, they pronouns.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lee, and I go by he, they pronouns as well.
Amazing.
Sorry, everyone. I'm still
These are so
deciding.
funny.
Okay, I think I'm set on this.
Amazing. Um, could you tell us a bit about your the fashion design and music that you do?
Yes, I can start with the fashion design side of it currently. So I'm currently senior year at Parsons, and it's interesting starting the last semester online and having the following last semester online as well. But I try to just go on my own way in this process, and essentially what I did was get into biodegradability and compostability. I'm interested
Oh,
in innovating new textiles because I'm like, well, people invented things, so things are possible. And I also feel like ways and of systems are held by choice. It's not like
yeah.
it's not impossible to have another way forward in in life. So I was like, okay, how about trying to find interesting ways that materials could be used or prolonged in terms of shelf life. What type of everyday material can be prolonged rather than thrown away. So through that, I started to this has been a year's process actually. I started last year, um, creating these like citrus leather textiles. And
Remember those? I love them.
yeah, you know what's interesting about that? They're still holding.
That's
The
amazing.
samples I had a year ago, yeah, they haven't rotted, nothing. So I'm interested as to, yeah, what those could be. But I wanted to expand my territory and try out other recipes. So I started doing some, I call them bioresin, just because it's biodegradable, like clear, filmy materials. And um, going into coffee ground leathers and like how I could like get some citrus peel leathers going. So this semester's in a lot of that, and through that process, I've made friends in quarantine as I'm funding my thesis by also making exchanges of these earrings, which is a made to order process, which is just a little more close knit, slow fashion styled process of like between the buyer and the consumer.
Yeah.
So
The
the
earrings is made with the bioresin?
yes, the earrings are made with the bioresin, and essentially the person DMs me, we discuss, and I ask a set of questions that get them excited and get to be a part of the making process with me, which is something that makes it more special in the exchange, so it doesn't feel like manufactured or already done. Like this person is from the beginning with me till the end, which is a new system that I found interesting in terms of having to compartmentalize and figure out how um, everyone's wishes and desires come to fruition.
Totally.
And I made it affordable, so and tip based, so I understand quarantine is affecting um, people of all demographics differently in different levels and degrees. So I think
Totally.
open for that opportunity for people to at least see something new. It's it's interesting playing that game of putting monetary value to something that will definitely destroy itself. Like you know going into it that this is a biodegradable product, yet you're still willing to pay for it. I'm trying to also mess up people's mindset about money and monetary value to the
Right, yeah.
process.
Yeah, how long does an item have to last for you to spend that money on it? Yeah,
Exactly,
that's a
exactly.
good question.
Yeah, so I'm like, these people, it's interesting to see the types of people that do still go through with it, like knowing, okay, it's still gonna biodegrade, but I'm very grateful for like the process that you've taken into making these things, and I'm willing to support that process as well. So it's interesting how now the monetary value isn't just for the benefit of having something flashy or new, but also creating a relationship with the seller and understanding that you're funding this person's creative life. So
Uh,
yeah, it's been interesting making friends online because of that. And
Great. How long does it take for them to biodegrade?
I think it's going to take a few months to a year. As
Hmm.
long, and I wrote little care instructions to make sure that it doesn't um, biodegrade faster.
Nice.
Yeah.
I That's so interesting because there's so many products out there that will like just completely fall apart in that time, and like be unusable
Mm,
and then won't biodegrade, you know.
mm,
But what you're making, like it has that like lifespan, right?
mm,
And it returns to the earth in a healthy, natural way.
mm.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's interesting. Just like it just made me think of like fast fashion and how a lot of fast fashion just like you buy something, you wear it like once or twice, and then it's
And
unusable
that's
again.
it.
You
And you
know?
know what's insane? Okay, this is insane, y'all. I don't, whoever listens to this later, let's break this fashion industry down.
Yes.
There are some corporations that, like, let's say if they sold something, or if they, okay, let's say the head guy is like, all right, make 2,000 of these, like this swatch or this sample, make another 1,000, whatever. And they have a line of it. And they've made the decision to make this, like with all the synthetics, whatever you want to call it. And out of nowhere, the guy could just be like, actually not, put that in the warehouse and let it sit. So they're literal, so many big corporations have warehouses filled with clothing talk less of the ones that end up in third world countries because first world countries need to find a place to throw it away. There's so
Yeah,
much waste already, so it's alarming.
much.
Yeah, it's alarming that we have not made things more tight knit in terms. It doesn't need to be such a mass global thing anymore, in my opinion. I feel
Absolutely.
as though local artisans can pick up the job pretty well.
Yes. Yes, we can.
This weekend. We're trying out here.
Yes, we are. Yeah.
And
Um,
yeah.
the different I'm so curious about this bioresin that you use.
Hmm.
Um, is that something that you like make yourself?
Yes, I have to make the whole recipe at home, and it's with, gelatin and upcycled paper. And the paper
So
has to be durable. Oh, fun part of this thesis project as well. Aside from the coffee leather composite samples that I'm going through, I had a few ideas. One is now currently going into fruition, and I got interested in biodegradable sex wear. And the earrings, the materials on those earrings, like
mhm,
latexy, like it feels good on the skin. I wouldn't lie.
that's
So
great.
I'm starting to create bustiers
Oh, nice.
out of the material because it stitches like leather. So
That's so cool.
yeah, so how those earrings look like, just imagine that but wearable and it's cinched on the
That's
skin.
awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds really cool. That sounds like the perfect material for that too.
True. And also I was thinking like, okay, when I'm, let's say the patternings I have for that bustier, move it along into coffee leather, what are the antioxidant properties of coffee on skin during sex?
Yeah.
Thinking about just little aromatherapeutic, coffee
Yeah.
lovers.
I love coffee so much.
Honestly, everyone like post
That's
sex, you like
great.
take a shower, like, whoa, my skin is supple.
What is
Amazing.
the coffee leather look like? Can you see the grounds or is it like all
So it's
smooth?
like you try to blend it into a homogeneous mixture, and you use calcium chloride and a few other like components into that just to make sure it stays well. And you lay it on a silk screen. You spread the
Cool.
whole thing, and you have to go through this whole drying process and like spritz things on it, and
That's
yeah.
great.
Hmm. But yeah, it's been interesting doing this during quarantine. I feel like my life has started to get to a point where everything seems to be connecting to one another. Like my passions in the realm of fashion amplify my everyday life in gardening and house plants and rare tropical plants and
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, do you want to say more about how it's connecting, like the different parts of
Yeah,
your life of quarantine
yes.
and the pandemic and stuff?
Yeah. I've started to just like dissect is more like a societal like ego death in the terms of like I'm looking at something that is no longer feasible. So
Mm.
I'm trying to, my mind constantly every day asks questions about what if, people, I wish more people in the world were able to just not feel as if what already exists is all that there is, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
So like envisioning futures
Yes,
of
and envisioning futures, but
okay.
better ones, ones that
Yes.
don't happen.
Better futures that we can
Right,
work towards
right. But
collectively.
it's never like the ones that like, oh, people are like better futures, but usually it's based off what we have now. No, I
Mhm.
mean like break everything down and like
Yes.
really just completely reimagine how that looks like. Or
Yeah,
bring back old ways of indigeneity and following like the ancestors as well.
absolutely.
Hmm.
Yeah. There's so many systems that are so ingrained in society right now that are just not functional.
Agreed.
And it's so powerful to get to envision futures where, that aren't based on all these broken systems, but that are, you know, so
Yeah.
better.
Good, true point. True point. It's just, wow. I'm honestly sometimes I'm here like, should I just start collecting seeds? I mean, the way things are looking, but then I think about them like Monsanto. Then you think about corporations. Then you think about everything. Oh, it's just, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how is like gardening and fashion like linking for you?
um, it links for me now even by the you. It's so interesting because okay, for example, a plant is already its own design. Like you see each plant and how it grows and its genus and its
Plants.
specific species. And with all those little manipulations, the same way we manipulate, like you can see like a peplum skirt and then you have a different altercation to that type of peplum skirt, or even a bag and the changes of bags. Like it's interesting to see how those classifications are even seen in fashion, or the textural components to plants and the possibilities within them that can even influence fashion. Because at the end of the day, in the generic and stereotypical story of Adam and Eve, it's such a
Hmm.
dead story. But anyway, you know how you have those visuals where they're like, oh, and they dressed him up and they put a plant on the private pots. Sorry, just crack me up. But like, it's just, I don't know. I feel like plants have more to teach us like every day.
Yes. Yes. I have also been getting very excited about plants lately. My window garden is just
Love.
exploding onto my wall, and I'm planning an aquarium with water plants. I'm so
Oh, I
excited.
love. If you,
The reason I was in the park today was I was hunting for driftwood for my aquarium. I'm so
oh, that's gorgeous. Honestly, y'all, Edmund, you just inspired me. I'm just gonna turn it around a little bit. The lights are really wild, but these are currently the world of plants that I'm dwelling in.
wonderful. I can't see them very well, but I know that they're there, and that makes me happy.
Yeah, it makes me happy too.
Ah, wonderful. That's so nice.
Thank you.
Yes, plants.
Yes, for plants.
I feel like we could all use more nature right now.
Yes, especially being indoors all day.
Yeah,
I highly recommend it.
yeah.
Like taking care of a plant should be everyone's hobby indoors right now in quarantine. Hello,
Yeah,
John.
yeah, yeah. I just planted some basil seeds in a pot on our
Oh,
window. So excited to
cute.
have something that I could like actually eat that I'm growing. I'm so excited.
I'm excited for that. It's gonna be so sweet.
Yes.
Oh, and also, happy belated new moon to everyone listening.
Yes. Happy
Oh,
belated new moon.
yeah.
It's so
Real
recent.
tough. It was stormy and wet and
Ah,
Scorpio.
yeah.
But, you know,
I did this like long meditation on the new moon. It was lovely.
love that. Let's see. Meanwhile, there's a tornado outside. Oh my god. So funny. Sorry. Yeah, mood though. Honestly. Wow.
Yeah.
Um,
Are you have you incorporated any of the plants that you've grown into any of the like biomaterials for fashion that you've been working on?
just out of pure selfishness to the love of my plants, I cannot.
I hear
I
you.
cannot. But honestly, yeah, I don't have the balls to do that yet. I feel like I'm still developing and cultivating.
Mhm.
But it's more in everyday foods rather than like house plants. So it's more
Absolutely.
like food waste.
I
Um,
love that.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
food waste.
using up things that usually get thrown away.
Yes, like
The,
especially in it's vitamin C season, so all those skins are here.
yes.
I'm a coffee drinker, so all this coffee goes there.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's it's been it makes me a lot more conscious of what I leave behind around me.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been collecting compost and bringing it to my local community garden, and
Mm.
I use a lot of coffee grounds.
Yeah, right.
A lot of coffee grounds. A lot of other things too.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it usually just gets thrown away. But it's so important to be able to, take care of our waste in a responsible way
Agreed.
because it's all going to go back to the earth in some way.
Agreed. And
And
like, tell me, okay,
yeah,
this is the one that hurts. Tell me why so many ancient civilizations, like, sure, we're like digging and scouring for the earth to find all these new artifacts or new discoveries. But the reason why we can't find a lot is because they knew how they used what was around them to sustain themselves.
yeah,
It's gonna be insane. This current 100-year period lifetimes like
yeah,
footprint.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
People knew how to live in a sustainable way that would that could last for centuries, that did, and yeah,
I agree with that.
yeah, we just need to work towards finding ways of doing that now, like you are.
We're trying out here. It starts with everyone's minds first. And then, I'll see all y'all on the other side.
Yeah.
But in terms of music, you mean like music in quarantine or music in general?
Let's start with music in general, and then we can.
Okay, music in general. All right. I feel like I don't know whether it's quarantine or what I'm tapping into, but I feel like I'm getting the ears of a bat. Like I just feel like I'm hearing a lot more things than I usually expect myself to, in terms of sometimes the frequency of like bug, like those things they put on the adapter walls, like in another room, like
Mm,
just little things like that, just very like little sounds.
yeah,
I'm very sound sensitive, and because of that, I enjoy improvising with sound. So I don't always have a set like goal when my mouth opens to sing something. It just does what it needs to do emotionally, like heart chakra wise. So
I love
I move
that.
along with them. There are a few songs actually even that are out that actually were written like that. They weren't like taking time to write down. It was just free flow. The Good Samaritan was one of
That's
that.
great.
So I just like to. I started out that way. I wasn't fully trained on voice. It was more like develop as I go and
Hmm.
practicing. But I did play musical instruments just because of the love of music and the drive to want to figure out an instrument. Like I used to even
Yeah.
research like why they exist, or like if there are new ones that could exist.
What do you
But
play?
huh?
What do you play?
Oh, I play the flute.
The
I play the
flute.
flute and the piccolo and the
Wonderful.
guitar behind me, the strings. Um, and I used to play this weird instrument called a euphonium.
Euphonium. What's
Yeah,
that?
a euphonium is basically just a smaller version of a tuba.
Nice. That's great.
Yeah, and then I went into jazz. So I
Cool.
was playing,
That's the improvisation.
yeah, right. So I played some jazz flute,
Nice.
and I just wanted to learn how to also play with another person. Um, it's different from playing alone. It's another person's thought and mind, like working with you.
Totally.
Yeah. So
Yeah. You're having a conversation with the
exactly.
yeah. Yeah.
And
Off of each other. And
yeah,
I
and
love that.
right, and it's it is very magical when you find someone like, and it just organically flows. But
Yes.
anything's possible with anyone, so I like to keep searching and befriending and working alongside people. But
Wonderful.
yeah, quarantine has been humbling.
I'm sure. How so?
It's been humbling in music because, there's certain trends or styles that are popular that can, be high on the market, or a certain disposition of a person is more desirable for the music industry and scene or magazines.
Mm-hmm.
So visibility is difficult because my message isn't of, I don't know, it's not to degrade anyone, or it's not sex
Yeah.
oriented
What
necessarily.
is your message?
My message is, what a question.
Sorry to like throw that big one at you, but
Right. No, wow. um, my message, I don't know. I think my message is more from a transient state of mind. Um, it's wanting interconnectivity. It's more or less trying to be a Jiminy Cricket in people's subconsciouses, like subconscious side, subconscious.
hmm
Yes, and I like to put words to emotions that people feel but haven't heard in a song to fully feel it out. Does that
Hmm.
make sense?
Yes, but say more.
Okay, okay, okay. So, um, so I'm
I love
trying.
what you were saying about interconnectedness.
Yeah,
That's
interconnectivity.
so powerful.
Yeah, because that is synonymous with emotion. We all feel emotions. We all manifest through that mode.
Absolutely. And
And,
and we feel emotion collectively.
and we feel, yes, and
You know,
because of
like
that,
it's a collective experience.
right? And music is a driving factor in that, in
Absolutely.
the world. Like what you listen to really can like perk up or influence how you feel. So
Yeah,
I,
music is very powerful for
like,
changing emotion.
and I want to be more like a, Google it, whoever listens to this, a light worker,
A
but in
what?
the realm of music.
Could you say that again?
A light worker in the realm of music is what I want to be.
You
So
want to say what that is, or
I
do you?
know, I honestly, a light worker, that just gets more into the realm of spirituality. And
hmm
I don't want to like full on go into a whole spiritual like
Okay,
drive here, but for those who are more curious, can go check that out.
amazing. Yeah. What you were saying about like interconnectivity and like you know
Mm-hmm.
feeling emotions and all of that. It reminded me of I see in your profile that one of the pronouns you list is we,
Mm-hmm.
which we is my favorite pronoun. I absolutely love the pronoun we
Mm.
because it is about like the interconnectedness between people
Mm.
and like the like joint experience,
Mm.
you know.
Yeah.
I was
I
just wondering
get
into like
embarrassed when I introduce my pronouns as we, because of usually the facial expression of how am I supposed to put that in
yeah, yeah,
a sentence. But it really is a feeling that I feel like I embody. Like I watch you, I feel you, like I'm with you, right? I don't know.
yes, yeah, totally. I also don't usually introduce myself with we for that same reason, just because
Hmm.
it confuses people.
Exactly.
Um, but at the same time, it is my favorite pronoun. And for anyone watching, I just want to explain a little that the way, at least for me, the way that I like people to use we pronoun for me is if you're talking about something that we're doing together. So instead of saying like I went to the park with them, saying we went to the park together,
Mm,
because that puts the emphasis on the connection between us and
mm,
the joint activity that we're doing, um, and how we're relating to each other instead of like us as individuals.
mm, mm.
Yeah. I
Also,
just want,
it just sounds better. It just feels better.
yes,
And that really did feel better.
yes,
Mm. But thank you for bringing that up, though. I think that's something that's important to highlight in general,
yeah.
anyone watching. I'm trying to think if there's anything I'm missing to say.
Does your fashion and your music ever overlap?
It has once, and it's more like a future project idea, more or less
Hmm.
funding oriented. But I got into weaving and essentially translated my music into a visual reference on clothing. And it wasn't just like a little like, oh, I'm just gonna put something there and there and that's that. No, no, no. When I get into a certain topic or goal, I start to like dissect everything possible within that realm. So I went into engineering manuals in terms of the electromagnetic spectrum and all this sciencey stuff. And um, essentially, color and sound are interconnected. the the realm of the color red is like 400 plus hertz. Green is like up to
Huh,
500 to something hertz. Yeah. So all
interesting.
these, yeah. So because of that, I was able to find the tones and chords and dissect the chords to certain notes and turn those into color and then
Cool.
place them. And because of the weaving thing, which is a reference to like a guitar, like
Yeah.
neck. So you plot and arrange and became that. And then I was going to get you know how you open um certain gifts or whatever and it plays music. I was going to incorporate that in the garment. So
Nice.
it fully played the music. But yeah, that was something that I when like designed and conceptualized and saved for a rainy day.
So cool. Um, how has the quarantine impacted your like musical performance? Uh,
I feel like it gave me so much more confidence. I don't know what happened to me this
huh,
year, but I actually feel like I kind of broke open a little bit this
that's
year.
amazing.
Yeah. Um, it's the year when I finally put out music, when I started to push myself to perform more. I just started throwing myself into territories that made me uncomfortable, but good uncomfortable, like something that needed to happen.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, being uncomfortable is like a
yeah,
sign that you're growing.
yeah, seriously.
Totally. Yeah. Have you been doing like online performances?
Yes, especially over the summer, I was really get it's like around that more often. And now that's been in winter, but primarily because of thesis, I've not like been seeking
Hmm.
out shows. Yeah,
Yeah, thesis is pretty overwhelming.
I know. Gosh, honestly.
Yeah. Wow, what is it like being in thesis online? Being in fashion thesis online? What
Honestly,
experience?
I feel like the experience current like because it's online doesn't really give the full feeling that I'm even actually in thesis.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and it's very much based on like where you are and what resources you have to even
Hmm.
try and build something. And to the side of that, another factor is the ability to focus when you sit in a place that you sleep and take, you know what I mean? It's kind of hard to work indoors and the space for it. But honestly, this online thesis has also taught me to be a little more adaptable to
Mm,
what's going on, like to be open to change on like initial set in stone concrete ideas that I might have walked into just been a constant evolving process. And
yeah.
the one perk of it is, thankfully, I think this is my thesis professor specifically, but which
Hmm.
you're awesome. Um, it's also more of like how um, patient the professors are with you. Like,
That's important.
very important.
Yeah.
Like, it's been a crazy time period this fall, the
Mhm.
election, yada yada. So,
Oof.
honestly, but it's just, yeah, I one day at a time. I'm gonna tell you that. I also, I'm excited for the end result for sure because I
Yeah.
have no idea how that's gonna look like, and honestly, I'm actually learning to
And
be
it's definitely going to evolve so much before that happens, you know.
exactly.
There's so much time, and like you were, mentioning how it's making you really open to change and like
Yeah,
evolving ideas, which is so important, like just in life in general, especially in such a like uncertain and wild time that we're in right now. Like
yeah,
it is so important to be open to change and like growth and evolving ideas in like
agreed.
every area of life.
Mm-hmm. Seriously agreed. Sorry, I just thought it was funny. Okay, I'm trying to see. Is there any added detail? Wait, how is it going? No, I have a question for you now, actually.
Yeah.
How is it like post graduation? That's it, period. How is it like?
um, I get a lot more sleep. I I have time
Mood.
to sleep a healthy amount and also like take walks and cook, and it's lovely. I'm very happy about it.
Mood. I'm so jealous. So
Yeah. I like all throughout all throughout my time at Parsons, but especially during thesis,
Mhm.
I just kept telling myself like now is the time when I just like push it, work myself to the bone, and then after I graduate, I'll be able to finally like sleep and take care of myself. And now I'm
You like nursing
able to
yourself
take
back
care
to
of
life.
myself, and it's lovely. I, yeah, I like. I've actually been like diving really deep into like I was gonna say self-care, but it's really more of like deep spiritual work of learning to love myself more,
Mm,
um, which is so important.
mm,
And like people judge themselves so harshly,
mm.
you know? And we
Yeah.
don't need to.
That
We do not need to.
that is a whole lifelong journey right there.
Seriously.
Seriously. Wow.
Seriously.
Self
Yeah.
love. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been like meditating for an hour every morning, and
Oh,
it's
you're far in now.
uh,
Yes. To be able to have the attention span for an hour means that you've built up your work.
yes. Yeah. Yeah, it's the best part of my day.
Mood. Metaphysical
Get
work.
out in the yard with the trees and the nature and my coffee. It's great.
Oh, that's a mood. I love
Yeah.
that. That's actually such a mood. I need to. That's exactly what I'm gonna do after this. Actually.
Yeah. It is so important to like find the things in your life that make you happy and
Yes.
like do those things.
Seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, it's important.
And for
Yeah.
anyone out there who feels like, oh, I can't do it, well, I have a question for you. how would you feel like 5 years from now, that little thing you wanted to do and you didn't do it? Wouldn't you want to have done it and just tried anyway?
Yes.
Because let me tell you, I have many regrets not doing it. But thankfully, the universe works out for me and comes back again with the same thing. I'm like, okay, I'll do it.
Right? Yeah, it works like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm enjoying nature so much, and um it's getting colder,
Yeah.
so pretty soon I'm not gonna be able to sit out in my yard for an hour every morning, which is one of the reasons I'm so excited about this aquarium that I'm gonna build. It's gonna
Mm,
be this little like slice of nature
mm.
in a warm place inside.
I love that. I love that. Honestly, I started making a closed terrarium.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's in a
cool.
huh?
I said cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm putting like these little springtail bugs and all these plants in there to just watch. And I got these little Princess Mononoke forests, like
I
the
love it.
to put it there. I'm very excited.
I
Um,
love it so much.
I know, just very
That's
tiny things. There's like tiny frogs and stuff in there.
yes.
Yeah, I think just
Yeah.
looks. Yeah, my Taurus is really coming out in quarantine with these plants. I'm just like,
I
I
love
know
the
my
plant so much.
right.
Yeah, and I love that you're like I love that you're working with like plant like food waste in
Mm-hmm.
in fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Like that gets me so excited.
Seriously, I'm here. Sometimes I turn around, I'm like, how come we're all just not teaming up and figuring this out right now? Like we should all just figure this out. We're not trying to claim prizes anymore. Let's just figure it out because we actually are timed. We're timed because at the end of the day, Mother Earth, we make it sound as if like, oh, we're gonna have to save the planet because the planet needs us. No, 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 no. If we die, the planet will figure itself out and continue.
Yeah,
We need to save
seriously.
ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what this whole like we need to learn how to live sustainably so that we can continue to live on this planet.
Literally.
Like nature will survive. Nature
Yeah,
will
right? Make it sound like we're the last things to ever inhabit. Hey, hey, hey.
yeah.
Like we're good. Um,
Nature will exist long after humans do.
I mean, dinosaurs did, and nature said bye and moved on and changed them to tiny little chickens, which is awesome. Oh my god. I've enjoyed this conversation a lot. I like how, regardless, they're all connected. Everything that's been spoken about.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything is connected.
That's the takeaway, everyone. That should be the title for this.
Yes,
Period.
everything is connected. That's definitely the takeaway.
Have you been reading any books?
You know, I am reading I'm reading Tattoos on the Heart. Have you heard of it?
No, what is that?
Um it is uh it's written by a I want to say pastor, but I'm like don't know anything about religion and like
Ah!
exact right title. But
You're like Reverend,
somebody
Pastor, Bishop?
who has worked with a bunch of gang members and created this organization to give jobs to gang members and people who were like recently released from prison. And um, it's a really wonderful, powerful book that I would recommend to everyone.
Mm,
Um, that speaks a lot about compassion, which
mm,
is nice. And I'm reading it because my mom sent it to me because I teach gardening in youth detention centers.
mm,
Um, and so she thought it would be relevant for me
mm,
because a lot of the kids that I'm teaching are in gangs. Um,
mm. I want to hear more about that outside of this, actually. I didn't know that.
Yes, we should have another call.
Yeah, really. I'm very curious about that.
Yeah,
Just,
yeah, I'd love to tell you more.
yeah. Well, I have to head to another meeting.
Okay.
Busy day. But I wanted to say thank you so much for getting me on this call today. It's been
Yes, thank you so much for joining.
yeah.
It was so nice to talk with you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And it's always just love and light speaking with you. So that was just very just
You
heartwarming.
too.
Thank you.
Amazing.
And also thank you, Playo NYC as well. Thank you, Edmund. Thank you, Will.
Yes, before you go, where can people find your music?
People can find my music on my link in bio. I have a link tree there, so it takes you to Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you need to go.
Amazing.
Yeah, please check me out if you ever need to be serenaded.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your evening.
Thank you. You too. And also say hi to your little doggy.
I, what, the dog that lives in my
Yeah.
yard.
Yeah.
This lady, she's so sweet. I love
She's
her.
so sweet. Okay, I'll see you.
Okay, peace. Bye, Lee.
Bye.